Yo, what's going on guys, it's Abs here and welcome back to another Gears 5 news update video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the latest Gears 5 news, which involves the tuning update regarding the Lancer and the Gnasher, some Ranked Gridiron news, a Hotfix Title update and much more. So as always, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to not miss any Gears 5 news as well as any Gears of War content on the channel. But yeah, firstly I want to start this video by talking about the Lancer and the Gnasher tuning update, and I'm going to explain it in lots of detail as well as my thoughts and opinions of it as well, so we can all understand what's going on and what the coalition's reasoning behind making these changes were and what they've done well and what they can improve on as well. So let's dive straight in. Right, so they've heard the feedback around the updated tuning of the Gnasher and the Lancer, so they're rolling out this immediate incremental changes to accomplish the following. Reduce the power of the Lancer, increase accuracy bloom, reduced accuracy per shot to 28% to match the classic Lancer, Gears 3 and 4. Note, it takes 0.84 seconds to reach maximum inaccuracy with sustained fire under normal circumstance. Active reload increases the rate of fire. Improved the feel of the Gnasher, bullet magnetism range reverted to title update 4.2 at 8 meters of effectiveness, and that was 6 meters previously. Also addressing Gnasher gib range, temporarily disabled the new gib range calculation system due to a newly discovered bug, which should bring the gib range down to intended levels, and this update will be live as I'm speaking right now. So then, the Lancer tuning, let's have a look to see what they've got to say in the article. So traditionally, the Lancer was a large clipped, decently damaging support weapon that was used to punish people caught out in the open, and if you landed most of your shots consistently with the ability to finish off the down in the same clip, this was balanced by the fact that the Lancer had an area of accuracy, known as accuracy bloom, that ensured not every shot in the clip was actually hitting at mid to long range with sustained fire. However, in Gears 5 they adopted a recoil based model for almost all weapons, which changed the dynamics of the Lancer, resulting in a much more accurate Lancer irrespective of aim assist. As a result of this increased accuracy, they reduced the magazine size from prior games. The downside of this reduction was that players are no longer cleaning up their downs as consistently. So basically what they're saying here was, traditionally in Gears of War games, the Lancer has always been a support weapon for just supporting and damaging your opponent from a bit further away from mid to long range, and the model that they used to balance the Lancer was accuracy bloom, so to ensure that not every shot in the clip was actually hitting at mid to long range. Obviously the recoil when you're firing without stopping basically. But in Gears 5 they implemented this recoil based model, which is a different model, and that resulted in the Lancer being much more accurate. So it's a lot easier to hit shots with the Lancer in Gears 5 compared to Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 3. So because of this they reduced the magazine size in Gears 5, the Lancer itself. So if you compare the Gears 4 Lancer to Gears 5 Lancer, the Lancer ammo capacity and the mag size is a lot smaller, because the Lancer in Gears 5 is much more accurate. It's a lot more easier to use as well, that's why. So in Operation 3 they increased the size of the Lancer clip to address an issue. However, the combination of the removal of flashbangs in loadouts and the new global loadout active reload timing, this change unfortunately spiked the Lancer's potency more than we expected. So basically they increased the Lancer clip size to address the issue where, you know, when you're lancering someone and you down them but then you have to reload, they increased it so that when you down them then you can kill them as well, which is obviously making it easier for the player who's lancering to actually finish them off as well. But that means that the Lancer is not really a support weapon then, is it, if you're doing something like that? And of course when you remove flashbangs as well, flashbangs obviously used to stun and flash people at the same time, so that helped break up setups. But when you've got smoke grenades and people are sitting back lancering and they've set up camp, then it's very difficult to actually break that setup. So apparently this is part of their intention to evolve the Lancer from the assault rifle level capabilities introduced in Gears 5 back to the more traditional Lancer as a support weapon capabilities. So the end result should be a Lancer that's slightly less potent, easier to fight against and more consistent to use for all types of players. Better players will still be able to eke out a slightly higher DPS by feathering the trigger and aiming for the head, just like in past Gears games. We'll be closely monitoring the impact of these changes and your feedback to determine if more steps need to be taken to achieve this goal. So basically the change is accuracy bloom, so reduced accuracy per shot, increased 28% to match the classic Lancer, Gears 3 and 4. Note it takes 0.84 seconds to reach maximum inaccuracy with sustained fire. But what I want to know is how long did it take to reach maximum inaccuracy before this tuning update? You know, how long did it actually take? This is a good change in the fact that, you know, say when someone's lancering and they might miss 1 out of 10 Lancer bullets, for example. Now they might miss 2 or 3 bullets out of 10, which is good, but the Lancer needs more changes than just that. For example, if one person is lancering you from mid to long range, then that will be helpful for you. But if, let's say, 3-4 people are aiming down at you lancering, but if they're missing 1 or 2 more shots, it doesn't really make a difference because you've got 2-3 people aiming down at you and you're finished. And the Lancer setups will still continue because there is no flashbangs as well in the loadout. So in my opinion, the Lancers themselves need slightly nerfing. Although this is a good change, it needs complementing a bit more. So they really need to nerf this Lancer slightly in terms of damage. Right, moving on to the Gnasher. So the Gnasher changes introduced in Operation 3 improved Gnasher range calculation consistency, but 2 changes had unintended consequences that require addressing. In terms of feel, the reduction in the Gnasher's hipfire magnetism range is making the weapon feel inconsistent to the previous version. We know this is something the community wanted us to try, but based on the feedback, reducing the magnetism hurts the feel of the Gnasher too much for us to keep. As a result, we are reverting the magnetism back to its pre-operation range of 8 meters. With regards to the gib range, prior to Operation 3 we reduced the gib range from 250 Unreal units to 230 Unreal units, the intended current gib range in Gears 5. So they made those changes, I think it was around Title Update 4.1 towards the end of that, 4.2. But when it comes to reverting this magnetism back to the pre-Operation 3 range of 8 meters, obviously it's not great, is it? You know, having added bullet magnetism, it's quite annoying. But what they're saying is when it's at 6 meters it feels a bit more inconsistent. And also, it didn't feel too bad before Operation 3, so if it worked pre-Operation 3 then I don't mind. I want to see how it feels first before giving my feedback fully. Because before Operation 3 I felt like the Gnasher and everything, it seemed a lot better, it seemed very fun. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But in Operation 3 they added a new calculation method that determines the gib range based on the same origin point on the model, rather than the closest pellet impact point. This has been a problem in Gears since its inception, and the end result were those frustrating moments where it appeared someone was in range and didn't gib, or appeared to get gibbed at a distance they shouldn't have. Our new system calculates all pellet hits on an enemy against the same origin point on the model, creating a much more consistent range calculation and removing a lot of these experiences. When comparing the two methods, the new calculation averaged to 20 Unreal units ahead, making the gib range feel further away. So we upped the gib range to 250 Unreal units in order to make it feel like 230 Unreal units, i.e. parity with pre-Operation 3 gib range. So basically, before Operation 3 they used to calculate the gib range from the closest pellet impact point, but in Operation 3 they've added a new calculation method that determines the gib range based off the same origin point of the model, which they thought would be more consistent. But the new calculation method, because it's the same origin point of the model, it's averaged at 20 Unreal units ahead of the old calculation, if that makes sense. So 20 Unreal units, if you don't know what that is, 20 Unreal units is 20 centimeters in game. So 1 Unreal unit is 1 centimeter in game, if that makes sense. So they upped the gib range to 250 Unreal units in order to make it feel like 230 Unreal units on the old calculation, if that makes sense. But it's the same number, but it's just 2 different calculations, right? This seemed all well, but unfortunately, here we go, there's a bug in the system that didn't become apparent until the game was being played at scale. Essentially, the system right now is calculating that range with some time accounted for latency, 2 frames to be exact, based on server predictions using your momentum at the time of the shot. This means that if you are hit while inputting any movement towards the player, you can step into gib range based on this prediction without actually having stepped into gib range. This is extending the potential gib range of the Gnasher and making it feel like a major increase when it's not. Until we can resolve this bug in a title update, we are disabling the feature to restore the traditional method of calculations rather than waiting for a full fix. This should bring the feeling of the gib range closer to its intended range in the interim. So basically, the intention with this new calculation was for it to be at 250 Unreal units, aka 230 Unreal units at the old calculation. But obviously this new calculation is pretty much kind of broken, and they're taking it out temporarily to look at it, and in the meantime what they're doing is they bring in the new gib range calculation in, which it states here: change. Bullet magnetism range reverted to title update 4.2 state at 8 meters of effectiveness, that was 6 meters previously. Temporarily disabled the new gib range calculation system due to a newly discovered bug, which should bring the gib range down to intended levels. So basically, we've just gone a full 180 back to the end of Operation 2 when it comes to the Gnasher. Apart from the poke damage, because I don't see anything on the poke damage itself, which is quite disappointing. So the Gnasher itself should feel like how it was pre-Operation 3, but the poke damage before Operation 3, the max potential poke damage was 200, but in Operation 3 they decreased it to 150. So you can't really play for damage much at the moment with the Gnasher. So I really want them to look into that as well. So overall, when it comes to the Gnasher, we're taking a full circle back to pre-Operation 3, but with the Lancer they haven't reduced the clip size, which is quite unfortunate, but they've increased the accuracy balloon to 28%, but they haven't actually told us what it was before. But anyway, yeah, that was a lot to take in, but let me know in the comments down below what you think of the latest tuning, and hopefully I kind of helped you out with understanding what's going on. And although it is once again a step in the right direction with the tuning, I do think the Lancer needs addressing a bit more, and the poke damage for the Gnasher needs addressing as well. But also, I haven't seen anything on the melee lunge, because it seems like the melee lunge has returned in Gears 5 for some reason. I really want them to address that. I think the smoke duration was reduced from 10 seconds to 8 seconds in Operation 3's patch notes, but I feel like it should be reduced to maybe 7 seconds, because everyone just throws smokes now, obviously, because there's no flashbangs. But that's just me, let me know what you think. But that's the tuning out of the way. Let's look at the other bits of information that you really need to know, just to make sure you're all up to date with the latest Gears 5 news. So with Gears Tactics then, there's a 15% pre-order discount for existing Gears 5 owners. So if you're planning to pick up Tactics and own Gears 5, you can nab that 15% pre-order discount by pre-ordering Tactics via the same store, e.g. if you own Gears 5 on Steam. You can only get the discount if you pre-order on Steam. Don't forget, if you're an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate owner on Xbox, you can also download Gears Tactics via Xbox Game Pass for PC. Speaking of Xbox, we know a lot of you are huge fans but may not be able to play Gears Tactics on PC right now. Tactics was designed from the ground up specifically for PC, from a mouse and keyboard based gameplay and UI to incredible optimization that allows Gears Tactics to run on a variety of machines. Now that we've delivered a PC first experience for Gears Tactics, we are hard at work on delivering a custom quality experience on console. We want Gears Tactics for console feels right at home on your Xbox and not like a port. This will take some time, so expect Gears Tactics to be playable on your Xbox console later this year. So I'd obviously assume that it will release with Xbox Series X, and I just can't wait for it to drop on Xbox as well. And I'll let you know when we get a release date for that. So moving on to some Ranked Gridiron news. So basically, obviously Gridiron became ranked, and as you finished your placement matches, everyone kind of pretty much got the rank of Masters somehow. And this was obviously a bug in the system and it shouldn't have happened. So they've actually spoken on this and said the following: as of today, everyone who has reached a rank in Gridiron placed will be reset to bronze tier. We understand for some of you this might be frustrating, but the good news is your behind the scenes skill rating has been retained, which is the key to ending up in the proper tier. As you play Gridiron, you will quickly move through the tiers to get to the tier that aligns with your skill rating. This solution, while not ideal, means that everyone will end up in the proper tier, and most importantly, for those of you chasing masters, this protects the integrity of that rank and small amount of places up for grabs in the mode. As part of the protection of integrity, we will be ensuring end of season ranked placement rewards for Gridiron will be calculated from beyond this point rather than the beginning of the season. So that is really good. Obviously Masters is the best of the best rank according to Gears of War's ranking system. And you can't just have everyone get Masters and get all the Master skins. You know, where's the integrity of the Masters rank? So this is a good change, and obviously it shouldn't have happened in the first place. So the final bit of news that I've got for you guys today is the Hotfix Title update, which is launching today as well, to address a few emerging problems and issues since the release of Operation 3. So you got some hotfix notes right here. So fixed a crash caused by Clayton's reflective armor card when hit by certain projectiles. Fixed an issue causing players to be in a broken state when the silverback is destroyed after using the ultimate while rolling. Resolved UI issues causing Tour of Duty to display incorrect information on completed medal groups. Gridiron now appears in the stats screen. Gridiron announcers will now have reactions to possession victories. Setting trigger option to left-handed will no longer prevent the use of the chainsaw with most control schemes. Map Builder fixed an issue that prevented user created maps from loading into the lobby correctly when selecting host map directly from Map Builder. PC changing custom key binding for reload no longer blocks secondary weapon actions, e.g. chainsaw. So that's some hotfix tile update patch notes right there. But there you have it guys, that is the latest news in Gears 5 at the moment. I know it's a bit of a longer video, but I just wanted to make sure I explained in detail the Gnasher and LANCER tuning changes, just to make sure we all understand what's actually going on, and I just wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out there as always. So if you are new to the channel, I would love it if you could subscribe, that would really help me out. And be sure to drop a like on the video and comment down below what you think of all the latest news in Gears 5 at the moment. I'm always up for discussions if you want to talk about the tuning or anything else. But yeah guys, hope you have a nice day and I will catch you on the next one.